Have you wondered, do I have a spirit guide? Maybe you want to connect with your spirit guides that are here to help you know your higher guidance. Well, I want to let you know you have a spirit guide. You have all kinds of spirit guides that come around you, and they're trying to communicate with you right now. But what keeps us so you don't know? It's the programming. It's your programming that makes you question whether they exist, and also the programming that tells you this is crazy and that you don't have the ability to get downloads, to get messages. So today I was guided to share with you about oil paints and creating spirit guide portals, about how I have found oil paints are the best medium to create these spirit guide portals, because having your own spirit guide portal is a doorway that helps you to, one, know that your spirit guides exist, okay, that they're with you, and who's with you at the present time, okay? They also help you to build that connection with them so you can receive the higher guidance, because whenever you're in a place of triggered, anxious, stressed, worried, really needing to make a decision from not your programming or your fears, but from what is higher guidance that would actually get you what you truly desire, your spirit guides are here to help you. And the reason why a spirit guide portal is so helpful is one of the things is it reminds you that this presence is with you, that the spirit guide is with you. Because I tell people on the spiritual path, one of the most important things is remembering, because we constantly go in and out of remembering that we're spiritual beings, in and out of remembering that we're not alone, that spirit is with us, whether you call it a spirit guide or God, Buddha, Allah, whatever name you have for your higher power, we often forget. And so you want a portal, a doorway, a physical reminder so that you know, let me connect. Hi, I'm Deepa, and I call myself the Creative Mystic. And I call myself that because I combine the creative powers that are within us, within you, within me, and spiritual tools and practices to bring forth the spirit guides and create these spirit guide portals. And I went from being a non-visual person who saw nothing in meditations to a person who gets these spirit guides coming to her in visions in meditation with messages and intuitive guidance, downloads, blessings to help you have that higher guidance. Because, it's all about how do we bring that higher guidance into our daily life. And that's what the spirit guides are here for. Now, I get told a lot, like, how could it possibly be if you believe in we're all one, there'd be these spirit guides? But it's about these spirit guides are individualized spirit energies that come to you because that's what you're needing to have that next step in growth. All right? So I'm going to share with you today. We're going to create sacred space. We're going to invite them in, our spirit guides in. We're finishing up and working on Archangel Gabriel and the Flying Horse as a spirit guide portal. It's coming to a close. We're not quite done, but getting there, okay? And we're going to invite in the spirit guides, these two here, with the ritual of ringing the bell and saying hello. It's in India, they have a ritual of ringing the bell to say, hello, God. And spirit guides are a form of God, okay? And so it's about how do we say hello because we're welcoming them in. And it's about creating sacred space. Sacred space here in my art studio, but more importantly, wherever you are, because it's the sacred space of where you are that we want to bring this energy into. And so it's about also the sacred space, most importantly, within yourself. Because when you get into that energy, that sacred energy within yourself, it's when you can connect and get the higher guidance from the spirit guides. So they guided me to share some about oil painting and creating spirit guides because they want it to get out there into the world, that people start to go, this is a possibility. I can actually use my creative powers within myself with these spiritual tools and practices to create and connect and grow, most importantly, my spiritual gifts. Because your spiritual gifts are here to help you to become the enlightened soul that you truly are, to become the successful person that you're here to be, because you are this enlightened being already, but it's about how do we actually take our attention off of the program that makes us think us that we're less than, that we're not enough, that we're only these physical bodies, and on to the truth of who you truly are. So let's get started and invite in Archangel Gabriel and the Flying Horse, okay? So if you have a bell at your home or wherever you are, I invite you to get your own and ring the bell in and feel the vibration. But if not, feel the vibration from this bell. Feel it resonating through, whether you can feel all the layers that I feel, because this bell is right next to my body. You can envision it, imagine it, because everything, we are one. It carries through the ethers. It carries through this camera to you. And it is about, if I'm open and willing, if you're open and willing, that we can receive these spirit guides. All right? So let's get going. All right? So take that deep belly breath where you focus on your breath, where the belly rises with the inhalation and falls with the exhalation. And once I ring this bell, you're going to say hello to Archangel Gabriel, hello to the Flying Horse, and hello to any other spirit guide that might be there with you. And then I'm going to go through a ritual of invoking them into this spirit guide portal, because it is about what our intentions and what we're infusing into this. We're going to light a ghee lamp, do a couple Sanskrit chants, and then I'll get to what they want me to share with you about spirit guide portals, your spirit guides, and why I think oil painting is the best medium forward, because I've learned it from experience. And that's one of the things they're actually coming in and telling me already, is that experience is what makes the difference. You don't just want to learn knowledge, but you want to experience things, experience life, experience what, when you apply the spiritual truth, what difference it makes in your life. And so they're talking about the importance of experience. So it'll be interesting to see what else they say, okay? So let's take that moment again. Focus back on your breath. And just listen to the ringing of this bell. Feeling the vibration coming through the ethers to you. And say, hello, Archangel Gabriel. Hello, the Flying Horse. And hello to any other spirit guide that is here with me that wants to reveal itself and help me with higher guidance and guide me through whatever struggles I'm having, so that I can have more flow, more ease, more intention towards what I truly desire, and having a life I love. And be open to welcoming the spirit guides, whether you notice or don't notice any difference. Just have the intention that Archangel Gabriel and the Flying Horse are blessing you through the ethers, through this camera, to you. Okay? And we're going to light this ghee lamp. And it's about using the transformative power of fire, of flame. It's been a little stubborn today, but it did light. And I'm going to actually bring it up to you so you can see the flame, and allow that flame to say, let me transform myself so that I am a conduit, a channel of this divine spirit guide. All right? And we're going to bring this ghee lamp, the light, the flame, to Archangel Gabriel and the spirit guide of the Flying Horse, allowing it to transform every soul who is here with us, every person who watches this video, just allowing it to come forth. I'm going to bring the power of the Palo Santo to help actually put out the flame by accident. We're going to add Palo Santo to help just remove any downward pulling energies and to invite in. So it helps clean our energy, the energy of the portal. If I accidentally infuse something into it that was a lower thought consciousness, we can clean our own energies. You can clean your energy, like even through the ethers. And let's do the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugundim Pushtivadanam Urvarekabandhanat Richo Mokshamamritat. Om. And the Gayatri mantra. Om Bhuvaha Om Swaha Om Maha Om Janaha Om Tapaha Om Satyam Om Tatsavitur Vadinyam Bhargo Devasya Dimahi Diyo Yo Nat Prachodayat. Om. All right, now they're excuse me. They're asking me to share with you. Excuse me, I can take a little drink of water. Thank goodness I have some here. They're asking me to share with you about spirit guide portals and why I'm talking about oil painting. You know, I put on here calling myself the oil painting mystic, and one of the reasons why they wanted me to talk about oil painting and calling myself an oil painting mystic, because I usually call myself the creative mystic, they were wanting me to share with you about what is so great about oil paints is they're a very forgiving medium. And we often think they're saying in life that if we make a mistake, it can't be undone, or that it's horrible and we're going to have all these horrible consequences. And oil paints, they want me to explain to you first about it, and then how it applies to your life. Because this is all about always, whenever there's spiritual truth being said or guidance being given, it is about how do I apply what's being said. It's not just about getting the information to go, oh, how nice. Oh, that was insightful, and do nothing with it. They're always, the spirit guides come trying to help you so that you can have less struggle, more flow, get the higher guidance that you can be leading towards who you came here to be, which you came here to be your enlightened self, okay? Now that form might be like me, I call myself the creative mystic, and I paint and mystic because I want my own direct experiences of the divine. Is that you? Are you a mystic? I'd love it if you're on live, you put it in the chat and say, are you a mystic? Are you someone who seeks direct experience yourself? You know, because it is about the experiences that we have in life that truly make the difference, all right? So they wanted me to share with you about oil paints and how they kind of reflect life, and people don't really believe this, and so they don't know it. So oil paints are a very forgiving medium. Now, I get these visions of these different spirit guides. They come to me, like this vision came to me in meditation, and I usually will jot something down on my iPad and in Procreate, you know, just to get the message and what it kind of looked like, but not in great detail or any, great look at it. Just, this is what came to me, and this is the blessing they want to give you, okay? But I'm taking something from this ethereal plane in the vision, in my mind's eye, that some would call that the fifth dimension, some would call it the fourth dimension, but it's not the 3D dimension that we live in, okay? And I'm trying to put it onto a two-dimensional canvas that I don't always know, being the human body, how I'm going to do that. Now, I do my best to move my little self aside and let the spirit guides tell me and guide me of what to do, how to paint it, what colors to use, how to do it, how to mix them, okay? But sometimes I'm like, I'm getting guided to do this. I'm going to put it on there, and I do. And to my sensibilities, it looks ugly. Or I'm human. Like even one time when I was painting here, I dropped my little bar that helps me hold up my arm when I'm doing small detail, and my brush went poop across the canvas by accident, you know. And instead of beating myself up, I'm like, oh, well, everything's happening for the betterment. But the great thing about oil paints is you can just take some paint and paint over it, okay? It's very forgiving. And the thing about when you paint spirit guide portals, it's not like you've got everything planned out about how you're going to do it. I don't. If some people do, yay for them, but I don't, okay? So I'm like, how am I going to make this image that I saw, okay? And often the visions that come to me are like actually movies, you know, they're moving. And so I have to like go, what moment in that movement am I going to actually put onto the canvas? Now, sometimes it comes in a more static, but most of the time it's something moving. It's almost like a movie. And I have to go, I think it's here that I want to put on the canvas. And I think this spirit guide, this image of it, will be the one that will carry those blessings that they want to give you, okay? So when I'm doing that, sometimes I get guided to do something and it doesn't look so good. And so oil paints allow that freedom to not have planned it out. If you do anything creatively, if you do any kind of painting and you use watercolors, like watercolors, you have to really think ahead. I've played around with watercolors, but they are not for me to do with spirit guides, because you have to know like kind of what you're doing and have it planned out before you lay the paint on there. And so this allows the freedom, oil paints, to be in divine flow. Okay? And often with oil paints, when I did Our Lady of Guadalupe, which you can't see because she's out of the frame, but there was, you know, like I put a color down that looked horrible. In fact, at the time I did it in a studio where there were other people painting, and the person who owned the studio walked by and said, ew, that doesn't look good, Deepa. And I go, I know, but I get the sense it's supposed to be there. And it was this gray color, and then I covered it up with these other colors, but yet the gray kind of bled through slightly, and it made this whole other look that looked great. And so you trust that what you're getting is going to make the portal more powerful, more like impressive to the eye and to how it feels by what you're putting on it. Okay, so as the oil painting mystic, and if you ever want to get into creating your own spirit guide, I highly recommend using the medium of oil paints because of that forgiving nature, okay? Now, one of the things they're telling me that they want you to get, they want you to get that how, like with oil paints, you can kind of cover something up. Now, they're not telling you to cover up things in your life, because that's what most people try to do. They try to cover up when they've made a mistake, right? If they've done something wrong, like little kids lie about it, right? Try to cover it up. They don't want you to think you're trying to cover it up like you do with oil paints, but it is adding to your growth, okay? Every event that happens in your life, they're telling me, is adding to your growth towards your spiritual enlightened self, as long as you don't try to pretend it didn't happen. Like, I don't pretend that something didn't happen when I put it on the canvas. I go, oh, gee, I'm not really liking that color I laid down. Or like when I started this portal, this was all white originally, and I then got to add more of the yellow closer to the angel, Archangel Gabriel, and the flying horse. But now today I'm going to be adding some flake white over some of this, not to bleed it completely out or cover it up, but to like add nuance to the colors. And so I'm going to be doing that. I already got that guided to do that when I sat down, because I always, before I meet with you, I always meditate a little bit, and I ask what, one, they want me to share with you, but two, what they wanted me to work on. And they said, we're going to do that today. And there may be some other things we do, but we're going to get to that in a few minutes, okay? The painting. And as I continue to paint the spirit guide and create it by infusing it with the right blessings of energy, that you should give more guidance, okay? So in life, you don't want to cover up the mistake, okay? But you want to know it can be transformed. And that's what happens with these portals. It's not that I'm like going, oh, yeah, big mistake, let me just cover it. It's about trusting that whatever I did, even if it was a blip, a line across, that when I'm painting over it, it's going to add something to the energy. Now, Archangel Gabriel is telling me the one thing about in life, because Archangel Gabriel on the flying horse came with the message of miracles are here, your miracle is here, which means all things are possible. They want you to get that blessing of, anything that I didn't think was possible that I've desired is actually possible. Okay? You may not know the how, but when you own that it is possible, that it will lead you to it. So they're saying to me, the reason, like, okay, I had a little blip with the paintbrush when I dropped something. It's about the energy of allowing what we think are mistakes to happen, because the mistake may be something that seems inconsequential to you, like you can't understand why you would make that mistake, but it is helping you in either your consciousness or in the timing of something that's going to happen, because it is about divine timing. All right? Miracles all around you, all things are possible, but they have a divine time. Now, that doesn't mean you give up, and that's the thing, is you don't want to give up. Okay, but you want to allow yourself to go through your process of whatever it is, so that you can have your miracle, that you can have the thing that you desire. So they're telling me that oil paints allow that in the creation process of spirit guides. Now, if you've ever wanted to like get more connected with your guides, please, I'd love to hear it in the chat. If you want to put something down for anybody who's live, or if you see this in the recording, I'd love it. Like, are you open to your spirit guides? Because the very reason why you may not be getting any messages, intuitive guidance, higher guidance on a challenge that you're having, is because you're not open. See, the very belief that you don't have a spirit guide, or that this is weird or crazy, can make it so you don't receive the message. When I first started getting the visions, they want me to share this with you. I can't say I was someone who necessarily thought that I had spirit guides around me. Okay, I just started with a little inkling that I had, an intuitive inkling that I knew was true in my heart. And that's one of the things about how you manifest your miracles and that all things are possible, is by following what's true in your heart, they're telling me. And so I started to follow my heart of wanting to create Yogananda into what at the time was just a painting where people would feel his energy, his vibration, his blessings. And that turned into me getting spirit guides coming to me quite frequently, and the download of why they're here to bless us. And so you, if you want that for you, need to start to be open to that and go, oh, spirit guides are here. My spirit guides want to communicate to me. In fact, they are communicating to me. I just need to learn to translate and listen to it. Now, we're not going to get into all that today, but it's about allowing yourself to know that when you're creating a portal, a spirit guide, and you use oil paints, it's here helping you to start to live your life. You create this a certain way, and then it helps you live your life that certain way. So by me allowing mistakes on the canvas of what I think is a mistake, it allows me to allow what I think is a mistake in life. And then reminding myself, there are no mistakes. This all adds to it. And so that's what they're wanting me to share with you right now. They want me to get painting, and then we're going to share some more. But if I see there are some people live, if you want to give a shout out of where you are from and who you are, I love it. I like to see people. Do you have any questions about your spirit guides? Have you wondered if you have a spirit guide? I'm going to be launching a membership here soon, and in the class, we're going to help you create a spirit guide. I'm getting it's probably going to be a Mother Mary spirit guide. So if you're into Divine Mother and Mother Mary in any way, please subscribe. If you want to subscribe, if you know of anybody who is interested in this kind of thing, please be a blessing in the world and share it with them. It's one of the things I like to do is, I make up little art things. And if you like this, please give me a thumbs up. I can't see it, but my hand's all over my little hand. Thumbs up, okay. And if you can turn on your notifications, then you'll be notified when I do another live. So you can turn those on, all right? So we're going to get to painting and then telling you more. I'd love it if anybody wants to share anything that they have to ask. Usually the spirit guides will come through. Now, one of the things they're talking about right now is they're wanting me to ask you, to ask yourself, what miracle, what thing are you truly wanting that you haven't been able to manifest so that you can admit it? Because you have to admit it first. And that's the thing about using oil paints and painting is in oil paints, you understand how the medium is. You don't try to pretend it's something it's not. And that's what life is like for you. So you don't want to pretend life is something that it's not. Like if you've done something you want and you try to pretend it didn't happen, that doesn't help you. You have to start to really honor, well, I did this thing. It feels like a mistake to me. And if it's a mistake or you hurt somebody, you can honor that by making amends and talking with them and doing the things you need to do. But they're saying that, mix some. With oil paints, you have to do the same thing. Like if you make a little error or you put something where you don't want it or it didn't quite give you the effect, you go, oh, that's not quite working out the way I want it to. I'm gonna change it. And it's that way in your life. There's nothing that you've done that can't be changed in vibration. I don't want to you can't undo something that you've done, right? You can't take back something that you've said in the sense of you can't make it go away, but you can change it. And that's the thing about when they talk about karma. That a lot of times people have misunderstood what karma is. They think that karma means that you're stuck with it and you've done this bad thing and so you have to have bad things happen. But I tell people, no, karma is, yes, you've made a cause that it's going to have an effect, but there's another cause that you can make in the next moment that might change the effect that's going to happen. And so, I don't know why I don't have a bigger brush. So you want to be aware that you are this all-powerful being that can make a difference, that can do something different. If you've done something that you wish had been you had done differently, instead of wishing it was done differently, go, what's the next cause I can make that will make a difference, that will give me a different outcome? And so it's about inviting yourself to be the powerful being that you truly are, instead of feeling like a victim to circumstance or something that's happened, or that what happens often when people make errors in their life, they tend to beat themselves up. Anybody like that? I know I can still do it sometimes. I do it far less. But yeah, I was programmed that if you make a mistake, I was programmed with a very critical voice from my family because they were critical and judged. And so I've learned over time to quiet that. But some days, right, you have those days where you feel tired and maybe you still do it. So I'm going to step out of this view for a minute because I just have to see it. One of the things about oil paints, too, is you back up to see and get perspective. And so it's one of the things in life is how can you get perspective on something when you feel like you're not really quite seeing it clearly? Because, you know, we all have a blind spot. And the blind spot is ourselves. Like, how do we actually... How do we actually get that perspective? And one of the things they're saying is that's what your spirit guides do. They help you get perspective when you're in a place of thinking you can't do anything else. You can't change what's happened. But not true. There's always the ability to make a new cause, to change something, to make it different than it is. So they want you to actually think about your own life. Like, what part of your life would you like to see changed? Where do you need your miracle? Archangel Gabriel's asking that. Where do you need your miracle? It might be your finances. Maybe it's your relationship. Maybe it's your job, your career you're not liking. So Archangel Gabriel is inviting everybody who sees this video or was here live, invites you to be open to getting some oil paints. And he's not saying that you have to paint the spirit guide if you don't want to, but he's wanting you to get the paint and just paint whatever you feel guided to paint. Like if you want to just put down colors, put down colors. If you're wanting to paint a box, paint a box. You know, like it doesn't have to be something like what I'm painting. That might feel hard, but to invite in the flow of just like, oh, wait, you know, I can put something down, I can lay it down, and I can actually cover it up. Now, he wants me to tell you, if you've never used oil paints, certain colors can take a couple days to dry, so you might have to let it dry, but that you can still do that. You know, so any color that you lay down, if you go, I'm not liking that, you can let it dry for a few days and then cover it up. So one of the things about when you get to this stage, it's just small little things, and then he's telling me that life is like that. You know, you get to a point in life, and it's small little things that make the difference. So it's in your life, and I have always felt like the small little things are what bring life to the painting, to the portal. Is that eventually you're like, oh, like this is giving life to it. You know, this is what's making it look alive or real or more detail. And so he's saying that you want to think that way with when you think of oil painting and you look at your life, you know, you oil paint, you go, okay, I have to add these little details to make it more like life, or to give it the look that I want when I saw it in the vision. And it's that way with your life. Like, if to create the life that you really want, to have a life that you love, what little details have you not been addressing that you need to address? And that's interesting because, I need to do that in my own life. Because that's the thing here is that, you know, I call myself a spiritual mentor, the creative mystic, but I'm just maybe in a little different spot than you are on the journey. I still always have more to learn. I always still have, that's the thing is people tend to think that the spiritual journey is about you get to this spot and then you don't ever have to do anything. It's like, oh, don't need, and I tell them, no, not like that. It's something that you have to be, God is continually growing and expanding, and we're continually growing and expanding. So what do you need to grow and expand in? What little detail do you need to look at that you haven't been looking at? So, is there one? Realize this needs to go up higher. Well, I feel like getting like this is what I'm supposed to do today. And we will, I'm kind of feeling like this might be done. And that's the thing about spirit guide portals is I'll feel like it's done and then I'll like sit with it until the next day and ask the spirit guide on the next day. So I won't know. I feel like we're going to be maybe starting a new spirit guide portal the next live I do. So if you're wanting to like see the future, the next one, which I don't know what it is, I'm not going to be on next week most likely. If I am, I'll put it up. But at this point, I'm not going to do it just because I don't think this is. I think this is going to be maybe possibly done. That it's going to be possibly the end of this spirit guide portal. Well, actually, when I think about it, when they're as I'm kind of doing this last little touches, I'm getting that maybe the spirit guide portal wants to be introduced in the last. Introduced and give messages. I know they've been kind of giving messages as we've been creating, but they're actually saying that yeah, let's like do a final live, and I will do it next week. We'll do a final live next week on this particular spirit guide portal in it'll give messages. So if anybody wants to get some intuitive messages on a miracle that you're looking for to have in your life, to come to the final live. Unless they tell me something different, this is going to be the final live. For not final live, like I'm never going to do one, but the final live for this particular portal, because I think it's I'm feeling like it might be finished. We're going to find out here in a little bit. I will, if by chance, I come next week and they tell me it's not done, I'll let you know. But at this point, I'm kind of feeling like they might be finished. They wanted me to add some of that white, but honey, I'm going to be signing off here in a little bit. Anybody who is live, if you have a question, feel free to put it up there or announce who you are. I always, like to see, for whatever reason, my streaming service couldn't let me use my colors that I usually use. But, yeah, I'm thinking this spirit guide portal might be complete. So next week, we're going to have will be the final one with this particular spirit guide portal. And then I'm sure one of the spirit guides will come to me saying, create this. Because I have some other images drawn that I've had visions, but I don't know which ones that wants me to create into a spirit guide portal. Any questions about oil painting and creating your own spirit guide? If you would like to create your spirit guide, I'm going to be, like I said, launching this membership where we work with the 4 pillars of what can help you grow spiritually, develop develop and manifest, a life that you love. Put that up there. It's at deepaloo.com/membership-waiting-list. And it's a waiting list that's for founding members. Founding members are going to get so much more than if you join later. So founding members are going to get the ability to actually help with what kind of content is in there. I mean, obviously I'm going to talk about the 4 pillars, but if you have a certain thing that you feel like has been your big struggle and would like help with, you can give input. You're going to get a discounted price that as long as you remain a member, you'll get that price, which, other members coming in later will pay a higher price. And one of the things I'm going to do for the first thing is to actually help you create a spirit guide. We're going to work on what I've been getting is possibly this Mother Mary. It's a Mother Mary that's blessing the world with healing energy, healing vibrations. And if you're looking to do any kind of healing, which just about everybody, and that's one of the unique things about my spiritual community, is it also is about healing. Because one of the pillars that gets left out of most spiritual paths of awakening, is people don't talk about healing. They try to do spiritual bypass and try to muscle their way through it, and I just don't see that helps. You have to actually acknowledge what needs to be healed. And acknowledging is about then you can then let it go. Healing is about letting go. About letting go what's no longer serving you, letting go of the wounds that you've gotten that keep you triggered into the past or keep you going around in circles so that you can't make forward motion. So if anybody's been in that place where you haven't been able to make forward motion, it's a community for you to help you with that. That's going to be 4 pillars of healing, creativity to awaken your gifts combined with spiritual practices, empowerment, which is about learning the spiritual laws that are operating in your lives 24/7, and how do you apply them, because people know of the laws a lot of times, but they don't know how to apply them so they can make a difference in their life. And then the 4th pillar is your purpose. Your purpose is so important to your spiritual growth, to your development, to being the happy, successful, prosperous, abundant person you're meant to be here on the planet, because you're a powerful being, powerful beyond measure. And it's about helping you step into that, to being that powerful being. So I love it if any of you would like to get on there. And again, I haven't seen any questions come through, so we're going to wrap it up. Thank you for everybody who's been watching, who's been being involved in creating this spirit guide. Again, next week, going to be the messages from Archangel Gabriel, really wanting to help you step into that energy of all things are possible. So come with questions that you have with what you've been wanting to manifest that you haven't felt like you can. And ask Archangel Gabriel the Flying Horse what could possibly help you, because there is always an answer. You're never stuck where you are. We only think we are, if that makes sense. All right? Have a miraculous day. Blessings, and I'll see you next week.